Hi, in this video I'm going to go over how to MLA format an academic paper using Google Documents. So the first thing I want to do is open up a new document. So the easiest way is if I just type docs.new. Now this is also assuming that I'm logged into my Google account uh, using my LAUSD email address and password. And I know that I am because when I hover over this little avatar, it has my LAUSD email address. If you're a student, it'll have your mymail.lausd.net email address. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, try to get rid of this real fast. Sorry, one second. There. Okay. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to make sure that my paper is set up properly. So MLA format, um, the margins is 1 inch all the way around, one inch margin at the top, the bottom, the left, and the right. So what I want to do is I want to go to File, I want to go scroll all the way down to Page Setup, and then I want to make sure this applies to the whole document. I want to make sure that the orientation is set at portrait, and then the size of the paper is 8.5 by 11, and the page color is always white. You never want to use any other color other than white for the background. Then on the right hand side, I have the margins here. So right now it's already set. The top margin is 1 inch, the margin on the bottom is 1 inch, the margin on the left is 1 inch, and the margin on the right is 1 inch. So I'm going to hit OK. Next, I want to make sure that my last name and the page number appears on the top right corner of every single page. The reason for this is, if anything happens to your paper, even if it's like stapled and your teacher drops all your pages and stuff like that, not only can they tell whose it is, but they can also put it in the correct order. To make something appear on the top right of every single page, I have to insert what's called a header. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to the insert, and I want to insert headers and footers, and I hover over that, and then I want to insert header. Now, right now, I can tell that I'm inserting a header because I have this bar right here, and it says header. Okay, everything above this bar right here is the header. Now I said that it has to be in the top right corner. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that this is right aligned. Right now it's left aligned. And also, sorry, I also want to make sure that my font is set properly too. In terms of font styles, I would probably stick with either Arial, Times New Roman, or Courier. Those are the most, those are the safest fonts. You want to avoid fonts that are like script, that look like cursive. They are, while they are very pretty, they're very hard to read. So I want to set it at Arial. That's the one that I like the best, but again, that's not the one that you necessarily have to use. And by the way, I would always check with each of your teachers to see what their preference is also. Then I want to make sure that the font size is always at size 12. Okay, so I have it set at 12. Now I want it to be right aligned. I want it to be on the very right side of the paper at the right margin. So I'm going to go hover over on this button right here where it says align. Okay, and I'm going to click on that arrow, and I want to make sure I go to the right align button. When I hover over it, it says right align. Okay, so now the cursor, it jumped from being here on the left to now being here on the right. I'm going to type my last name. Now this is assuming that I am a student. Okay. Now after my last name, I'm going to put a space. Now for the page numbers, I could just add a number, one or whatever. The problem is this: if I just type in a one, it's going to put Miller one at the top right of every single page. I don't want that. I want my last name and the current page number. So instead of typing one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to insert, and I want to insert a page number. So I'm going to scroll down, and on page numbers, I'm going to scroll over, and again, I want the page number to be on the top right corner of every page. Every page. Okay. Now with MLA, we do not have a cover page. Okay, so I don't want this one, and I certainly don't want it on the bottom of the page. So I'm going to choose this one here. Okay. So now it says Miller 1. Now that 1, you notice that it's kind of like highlighted in gray. That means that it's a page number. It's not just a regular, I'm just inserted a number there. Now to get out of this header field, I'm just going to click anywhere underneath this header bar. Okay. The next thing that I want to do is I want to make sure that I'm double spacing the whole page. Okay. To do that, but by the way, that means for every typed line that I have a blank line in between. Okay. So I'm going to go up here to Format, and I want to go down to Line and Paragraph Spacing. I want to make sure that I choose double spacing. Now, it doesn't look like it did anything, but trust me, it did. Okay. Now, the next thing that I have to insert in is I want to insert my actual heading, not header, but heading. So the first thing is your first and your last name. I'm just going to put my first and my last name. Okay. Now, when I hit enter, you're going to notice that it put a blank line in between this a typed line and the cursor. The next thing that I want to do is I want to insert the name of my teacher. So let's say my teacher is, let's say Dr. Guy. So I'm going to put Dr. Guy. Okay. I hit enter again. And the next thing is I want to put the name of the course that this is for. So let's say this is for English 9. So I'm going to put English 9. And then I hit enter. And the final thing that I'm going to put is I'm going to put the date that this, excuse me, the date that this is due. So let's say it's August 18th. Now, how it works with MLA format is you go from the smallest amount of time to the largest. Okay, so I'm going to put day 18 space month. I'm going to type in the entire month, and I want to make sure that I capitalize the A in August because it's a name of a month. It's a proper noun. Then I'm going to put space, and then I put the year, 2022. Okay, that is it on that. So now I'm going to hit enter again. Now I'm done with my heading. The next thing that I want to insert in is my is the title of the paper. Okay, so the title is always centered. Okay, so now I have to go back to this align button here, click on that arrow, and I want to make sure that I go to the center align button. Now, with an academic paper, the title of your paper should always be a clue as to what it's about. if you type my essay or English essay, that is not a very good title because it doesn't give the reader, whoever it is, any idea on what your paper is actually about. So let's say I'm going to do medieval views of women in literature. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to hit enter. Now I'm ready to actually start my essay. Okay. Now I'm right now it's center aligned. I want it to be now left aligned. I want it to start here on the left margin. So I go back up here to my alignment button, click on it. I want to make sure I go to the left align button. Okay, so now I have the cursor over here. In an academic essay, academic paper, the only indication that it is a new paragraph is that it is indented. You do not insert an extra blank line in between each of the paragraphs. Please do not do that. Okay, so the only indication that it is a new paragraph is that you indent. How do you do that on a keyboard? So I see a lot of students hit the space bar, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. No, there's an easier way of actually doing that. On your keyboard, on the left-hand side near the top, there is a tab button. That tab button when you hit it, it'll automatically add 5 spaces. Okay, that is the only way that you should be indenting. So I'm going to hit the indent button there. Okay, now I'm ready to actually type my essay. Okay, now I'm not going to actually type the essay. I'm just going to put in some fake like text here. I'm just going to go up to lipsum.com and I can this is a website that creates just like dummy text. 5 paragraphs. Okay, generate. All right, I'm just going to copy this whole thing. And again, this is just dummy text right here. I'm going to right click. I'm going to paste without formatting. All right. Now, you notice right off the bat, it inserted a blank line in between each of the type lines. So I'm going to get rid of that. And then I'm going to make sure I hit tab so I indent. So let me just do that real quick. Okay. So that's pretty much it. Now, by the way, let me point out also on the top right corner it says Miller 1. Then on the next page it says Miller 2. Okay, so that means that me inserting a page number instead of just typing a 1 worked. Okay, and if I was to insert like a page break, you'll see Miller 3. Okay. That is basically how to MLA format an academic an academic essay or academic paper using Google Docs. I want to make sure that I also add a title in there. So let me just copy the title essay, hit enter, and that's it. If you guys have any questions on how to do this, please see me in the library. Thanks.